The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke, Kevin Price, and Robbie Ross. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty.
Tonight, the latest edition of the Ross Report. Sean and Kevin are still talking football as the Georgia High School Daily, along with the AJC, announced their 2021 All-State football team. Sean and Kevin also cover the upcoming Wrestling State Championships, as well as Golden Isles basketball. Finally, Kevin talks with Brunswick High School wrestling coach Tom Bartolotta about hosting and competing in the 6A state championships. Thanks for watching.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Robbie Ross here with the Ross Report for this week, as wrestling and basketball still in the heat of their schedules, getting set for region tournaments in basketball, state tournaments in February in basketball, and of course the team dual state tournaments this weekend down to their Elite 8 in all classifications. We'll start with wrestling, 7A Camden versus Lambert in the Elite 8, moving on to the Final Four if they win that, if not down to the consolation bracket. So a lot of wrestling in all these tournaments, even if you lose your first match. 6A, Richmond Hill and Creekview, Brunswick and Alexander. 5A, it'll be Coffee and Cass. And in 1A, it'll be Charlton County and Mount Pisgah. That is the team dual state tournament. So this is a team tournament. The traditional individual tournaments will be later on in January and into February. Basketball in the heat of region play in 7A, Camden at Tift on Friday. 6A, Statesboro at Bradwell. Statesboro boys having a great season there at Bradwell. South Effingham at Effingham. And then first matchup in the city championship series in basketball between Brunswick and Glenn. This one at the Glass Palace in Glenn, Academy this Friday night. Kevin Price will be on hand for 912 Sports to broadcast that live right here on 912sports.net. Those are Friday night. 5A, Wayne County at Veterans, Warner Robins at Ware County on Friday. 3A, Tatnall County at Claxton, Long County at Appling County, Pierce at Brantley on Friday. Brantley undefeated in the region thus far. And in 1A on Friday, Clinch is at Irwin. So lots of basketball, lots of wrestling, good indoor sports as we are experiencing some cold weather here in the 912. This is the Ross Report on 912 Sports.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing this early week day here?
I'm doing good, Sean. Good to be back with you talking sports again, and high school sports, of course, and January rolling right along. Of course, Georgia still celebrating that national championship. Obviously, a big celebration this past Saturday in Athens. It was cold, but everybody obviously was turning out in mass numbers for that. And then, we've still got football going on, with the NFL playoffs. But anyway, I mean, we're through with high school football, but we're going to talk a little high school football here. It never really goes away, and that's going to be one of our bullet point items. So I say kind of right there, let's dive right on in.
Yeah, well, Kevin, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Georgia High School Daily. For people that don't know, Georgia High School Daily during football season puts out an email every morning, Monday through Friday about Georgia high school football. They put together, along with the AJC, a all-state for 2021 football team. And what we're going to do is talk a little bit, Kevin, about the 912 players, which were most every one of these guys, I think with the exception of one, were on our 912, all sports team. But these guys have been named for all states. So they covered the whole entire state. Our team only encompassed the guys here in the 912. But we'll just start off right there in 7A. Camden, our lone school in 7A. Kevin and Noah Demerit, offensive lineman there, a big 6'6" guy, 320 pounds, a senior out of Camden County. He was the only 7A representative here from the 912 to make that football team.
Yeah, and obviously, he's a big kid, 6'6", like you said, 320. Obviously, he caught Coach Jeff Herron's attention from day one when Coach Herron took over that job. But I remember actually being on the field before the Glenn Camden game early in the season, and Coach Herron and Coach Rocky Hidalgo were down there, just hanging out, watching their teams warm up, and kind of glancing over at the other guy as well. And Coach Rock would make a comment about that guy looks good, or yeah, that guy looked good on film, and Herron would kind of do the same thing. And there was one guy that I do remember that Herron said, "Oh, I would like to have him on our team from Coach Rock's Glen Academy team." And then that was just in the time I was standing down there. And then Coach Rock immediately turned over, and I think the offensive line guys might have been basically in a group setting right behind us. And he goes, "Well, I don't know what you feel about that guy, but I know he just looks good in uniform, and I've seen him on tape, of course. But we would love to have him right now if you want to trade. He was talking about, this kid right here.
Yeah, Demerit. He was also a part of our Hall 912 team. So congratulations to Noah Demerit there at Camden County. Dropping down to 6A, the only school representative was Brunswick High, but Brunswick High had two representatives, Kevin. Kanai Charlton, offensive lineman, 6'5", 340, a senior, going off to Florida State University. And then Kayshawn Thomas, defensive lineman, 6'2", 315, the junior, who's on everybody's wish list for next year, Kevin.
Yeah, and of course, Kanaya committed to Florida State. Before last season even started, he held true to that commitment. And of course, early signed with the Seminoles. And then Thomas, he was blowing up in the recruiting scene going into last year. And now it'll be interesting to see, if he takes some business this spring, what happens this summer with him in terms of maybe being invited to certain schools and whatnot. And, he could very well be in the same boat that Kanaya was in going into, this coming football season, possibly making a commitment to, go ahead and end the suspense if he knows where he wants to go.
Yeah, Some Services, Kevin's got him rated as the top, as high as the top 5 defensive linemen in the country. So, that's pretty impressive there for Thomas. So we'll keep an eye on him. Dropping down to 5A, Thomas Castellano was the 5A Player of the Year. Thomas from Ware County is already enrolled and already practicing down there with Central Florida. He's going to be part of the Gus Bus, and we'll see how Thomas does there at the next level.
Yeah, and we've talked about him, all the way throughout the fall, and of course when we released our awards at the end of the year, and it's just going to be exciting to see Thomas, playing quarterback at the next level. He fits perfectly in that Malzahn offense, and he's going to have some competition in that quarterback room going down there, but he's certainly not one to shy away from competition. And once he gets on the field, there's probably the sky's the limit for him. I think he'll fit right in, do wonderful things down there at UCF. He'll be a fan favorite, I feel like.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked to see Plumlee, the kid from Ole Miss, who was a quarterback at Georgia, went to Ole Miss, was a receiver behind the last quarterback there. And now all of a sudden he's going to try his luck at being quarterback at UCF there. So we'll see how all that shakes out. But nobody in 4A in our area, Kevin, dropping down to 3A. This is our biggest class here as far as people that are on this team. We got 5 players out of 3A that made this all-state team. Of course, we know where most of them are coming from, Pierce and Applin, but let's just talk about those schools right here. All of them are coming from Pierce and Applin. But DJ Bell, running back, 5'10", 175, a junior, already got an offer from Georgia Tech. We'll see where he shakes out at. Darius Smith, defensive lineman, 6'6", 225, a senior from Applin County. Darius already committed to go to the University of Georgia. He did not sign early, so we'll see what shakes out there. Donelius Man Johnson, we all know him as Man. I may have butchered his first name there, but Man, a linebacker, 6 foot, 210 from Pierce County, a senior. He's part of that all-state team. Dennis Mims, who was actually our November Coastal Pines Player of the month last month, Kevin. They got him as a linebacker. I think we had him as a running back because he ran the ball so well. But Dennis, a 5'9", 190-pound senior there at Applin. I'm sure he's going to get an opportunity to play on Saturday. And last but not least, Dayton Baker, the defensive back, senior there, 5'11", 175 at Pierce County. He's also part of that team. So the two teams that were in the Final Four, Kevin, got 5 representatives on the all-state team. Really no surprise there. Talent's all over the field.
Yeah, there could have been a couple of other guys, but we're talking about the whole state here. And, the cream does rise to the top, and Pierce and Appling were certainly two of the better teams in our area, really, regardless of classification, but certainly, going 1-2 in that region once again. And we felt like both teams had a shot at making it, to the Final Four or beyond, and possibly hoisting that state championship trophy. And you got to have the Johnnies and the Joes, or the Jimmies and the Joes, whatever you want to call them. And those two teams do have those guys. All those guys are super good athletes. Bell, I was kind of wondering if he might make some all-state teams or not, because, he was hurt for so long to start that season. But when you look at what he did when he started and how he finished and the way he played in the clutch for Pierce, somebody would have to be a really, really good running back with just some dynamic season-long stats to knock him out of there, because the stats he had when he played were just through the roof.
Yeah, you probably could take his last 5 games, Kevin, and put him up against most running back season numbers. I mean, just 200 here, 300 here, 200 there. I mean, just a great performance there toward toward the end. Again, like I said, Dayton and the Mims kid, we made him the Coastal Pines Player of the Month. He's really the only kid that we did not have on our 912 team, and he was very deserving. The problem was we were just stacked at linebackers in 912. I mean, we had linebacker after linebacker after linebacker. So congratulations to all those guys. Dayton Baker, another kid that was on our all 912 team. So congratulations to all of those 3A players. We'll drop down to 2A, Kevin. Nate Lewis, offensive lineman, 6'3", 265, senior out of Jeff Davis. No surprise there. And Ty Adams. We got a chance to see both of these guys compete against one another. Ty played quarterback for Swainsboro, but they listed him as an athlete here on this all-state team, 6 foot 175, just a junior. I didn't realize that Ty was just a junior, but for the Swainsboro Tigers. So Coach Scott Roberts will be excited to have Ty Adams coming back next year to keep that offense going there. But no surprise on either one of those 2 kids there.
Yeah, the quarterback, Adams for Swainsboro, I mean, he was not a one-man show, but he is a good one-man show because he can put on a show. And obviously they had a good team around him, but, he was the main go-to guy on offense. And we kind of felt like, that said, he would take them as far as he could, and they certainly, had that great run. And then, the Lewis kid, there at Jeff Davis, I knew his size, I knew his specifications, so to speak, his dimensions. But when I saw him when we went to that Jeff Davis Swainsboro game, I mean, again, he's the guy that immediately gets your attention in uniform, but he can play too. So he's got the body and he's got the build, but he's certainly, fundamentally sound in the whole 9 yards. So, going to be exciting to see what he does. But then, you mentioned Adams coming back. I mean, he played like a senior, and he's going to be a senior next year, I guess. So we'll see if he can come back and steer that Tigers team, maybe deeper into the playoffs this time.
Yeah, made it to the Final Four last year. Nate Lewis is already signed, going to play his ball at Georgia Southern. So he is a Georgia Southern commit. He'll be there playing this fall. And Nate's got a little bit of that nastiness you like in your offensive lineman. Great kid, but boy, when he steps across that white line, he gets a little fire in his belly, and he's a fun kid to watch. Dropping down to 1A public, Kevin. This is the only only one player here. I was kind of shocked by that. Will Jones, defensive line. We've known about Will all year long. Again, another kid that plays a couple of different positions there for Coach Bradley Warren down there for the Buccaneers. Plays a little running back. Plays on that defensive line. Will probably play a defensive lineman at the next level. A kid that I thought might sign early that didn't. He's going to wait till February to sign. We'll find out where he goes. But they're in 1A public. MCA with the only representative. Kind of shocked that Jalen Lilly from Charlton didn't make that team. Did get honorable mention there. But again, congratulations to Will Jones.
Yeah, and Will Jones, one of those athletes that, like a lot of these other guys, I mean, these guys stand out when you see them in the uniform, and then when you see them play. You realize why, kind of everybody knows their name, certainly in their regions or maybe in their whole classifications. And a lot of these guys are guys that we, expected to be on these kind of teams. But, I was maybe a little bit disappointed in McIntosh at times, maybe didn't play quite as well as I thought they would. But at the end of the day, another good season for the Buccaneers, getting a first round win in the playoffs and going a little bit further again. So he was certainly one of their bell cows, if you will, one of those good-looking athletes that played well for McIntosh this year for sure.
Yeah, he and McIntosh did have some dudes, that's for sure. But Kevin, we'll move on to our next segment here. We're going to talk a little bit about wrestling. This past weekend, we talked about the regions here on the last show. This past weekend, people competed for an opportunity to go to state, and I think you got a rundown from 7A through Single A on who's going to be advancing to the state duels.
Yeah, so, we had several teams in the, come out of their area dual tournaments. And, of course, the top 4 teams from the areas, which are basically the regions. They just call it area in wrestling. Went on to, this past weekend's matchups, and they were what they call the state prelims for anybody who doesn't know. So there were 8 14 tournaments around the state in each classification. So the number 1 team in each little 4-team mini bracket, if you will, hosted those little meets, and of course all the area champions from around the regions were those hosts, and Brunswick was one of those, and Brunswick pretty well breezed through their sectional, but to make it into the 6A, and so I'll go down to classes. But Camden County, probably the strongest wrestling team in Southeast Georgia, even though we've added some like Brunswick, and Richmond Hill's been there for a while. They are kind of like the cream of the crop, and certainly they're one of the best wrestling programs in the state, knocking out state titles left and right for several years now. In 7A, they'll be into the duals championships again this weekend with the chance to win another state championship, and certainly should have a good opportunity to send a lot of kids to the traditional championship as well later on. So Camden, our only team really in 7A that we cover on a regular basis, so they are in to the final 8 there in 7A. In 6A, we'll go through the whole field here in a moment that will compete at Brunswick High School. Brunswick is hosting the state tournament, the finals, if you will. The Elite 8 teams in the state will come here to Brunswick this weekend and compete for the state championship. Brunswick, one of those, along with Richmond Hill, Sean, that certainly has been a perennial power in this area. Brunswick basically got over the hump against Richmond Hill the last couple of years and won the area duels. This year, South Effingham slipped past Richmond Hill in the area tournament, finished second. Richmond Hill third, but Richmond Hill goes on the road this week and makes his way right back here again. So not really shocking. I think Brunswick was third in the state. Richmond Hill may have been 4 or 5, and I think South Effingham was 5 or 6. So 3 good teams in that 6A region that we cover. But along with Brunswick and Richmond Hill, we'll have Alexander here this weekend, along with Creekview, Lassiter, which hosted the state duels last year, Cambridge, Buford. They are the favorite, by the way, and Valdosta as well. So there'll be another South Georgia school here. 5A, Coffee makes it out. So they're in representing 5A, representing Southeast Georgia. Ware County did not make it out, so that was a little bit of a surprise, but we do get one of our teams out there in 5A. Nobody in 4A or 3A. We had a couple of teams competing in 3A for sure. Nobody makes it out. But in 2A, we have Idea representing the 912, and down in single A, we have Charlton representing the 912. If you're a fan of any of these teams, 7A is going to be at Lambert. Like I said, 6A is going to be here at Brunswick. 5A is going to be at McDonough. 4A at LaGrange. 3A at Stevens County. 2A at Bremen, and 1A, where Charlton will go, is up in Commerce. Now, the same format I think all the teams had to follow. It's a Saturday deal. The Elite 8, the quarterfinals start at 10 a.m., and they'll go from there. The semifinals at 11:30. The consolation semifinals, they do have wrestlebacks where, if you're not making it the first or second, you can still wrestle for third and fourth and that kind of thing. Those are at 1. And then the actual final, the state championship match between the 2 undefeated teams all the way through the bracket on Saturday will meet at 3 o'clock. That's the standard schedule. $15 to attend any of these state championships. Sean, that's a pretty good deal because it starts in the morning, goes through the afternoon. You see a lot of really good wrestling, and I'll let you speak on that. But I think if you're a wrestling fan, or maybe if you're just kind of curious and live here around the 912 area, if you're not going to one of our other teams that have made it to theirs, Brunswick would be a good place to be on Saturday. Wrestling can get exciting just like any other sport, and these teams and these wrestlers are super talented.
Yeah, I mean, and not only with that, Kevin, you get a chance to see Brunswick and Richmond Hill right here from the 912 in this, if you come out to Brunswick on Saturday. And the duels is a great way to get introduced to wrestling. We kind of talked about this last week, Kevin. It's where you pretty much got to have somebody that's really good in each one of the weight classes. It is a group effort. You can be the best wrestler in 152, but you got to have the guy in front of you and the guy behind you, win to be able to win these dual tournaments. So should be an interesting day there on Saturday. Best of luck to both Brunswick and Richmond Hill. Maybe one of those guys will win state. I mean, we've got our fingers crossed there, but should be an interesting contest there. Like I said, $15. That's a lot of entertainment there, Kevin, for $15. I mean, you probably can break it down for $2 an hour or something. Right. So, but should be a great way to spend the Saturday. So if you want to get on out there and check out some good wrestling there at Brunswick High School on Saturday. But that's going to wrap up wrestling. Kevin, we're going to move right along into Golden Isles basketball. You guys got a game or had a game this past Friday night You had a couple of coaches sit in with you, and I'll let you talk about that. But the girls for Brunswick put on a fantastic show, beat a very, very good Statesboro team. Not only beat them, Kevin, but demolished them. It was very, very, one-sided. And then the Brunswick boys hung in there against Statesboro, but just couldn't put together with a victory. But we'll let you go back and talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about the big match coming up this coming Friday.
Yeah, we do have a big one this Friday for sure that we'll have on Golden Isles basketball, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But, yeah, Saturday was our second doubleheader broadcast of the season. You and I, started it out the week before with Glen Academy hosting the Wayne girls, and then Coach Dan Moore, the former Glen boys coach, slid in and did the boys game with me between Glen and Wayne County. This weekend, the second weekend of Golden Isles basketball. Just for somebody that doesn't know, it's like our Golden Isles softball platform that we had in the fall. And then, of course, the Golden Isles baseball platform that we've had the last 2 springs and hope to have again this spring where, we do feature Brunswick and Glen. So when we're doing these games, for the most part, or the way we have the schedule set up is we do the boys and the girls. And of course, girls action starts it off. But, so Friday night, big matchup in this area. Coach Jesse Watkins from the College of Coastal Georgia, their men's coach, sat in with me and did the girls game, but it featured, depending on what poll you look like, the 3 versus 5 teams in the state. That's in Max Preps, Brunswick being 3, Statesboro being 5. And I expected this one to be nip and tuck the whole way, but Brunswick took charge of that game from the beginning and ended up winning by 30 points. Statesboro was minus their top player, leading scorer, and rebounder, but I think she averages a double-double. But it's like 12 or 13 points, and I think, just over 11 rebounds. So obviously, Statesboro seemed out of sync. They needed her on the floor offensively. They could have used her big body defensively, but Brunswick's guards really looked good in that game and really controlled things on both ends of the floor. Brunswick's pressure defense forced Statesboro into a lot of turnovers and bad shots, and then Brunswick had, pretty good balance on the offensive end. Their guards did really good, and then Shanae Jackson, who was our player of the game, with 12 points and maybe, I think, 7 rebounds and a couple of blocks. But she was the biggest, strongest athlete on the floor, and she controlled the paint for Brunswick. Then the boys' game, Brunswick was an underdog. They're obviously a perennial power here in Southeast Georgia, maybe a little bit inexperienced this year, but came in with a winning record and led Statesboro, a top 10 team in the state that had only lost 1 game just last weekend to Benedictine after getting taken to the wire by Glen Academy. But Statesboro ranked number 9th. I think they've been as high as 6th. Brunswick led them by 2 at the half, got their big kid, their 6'7" kid, Leslie Black, in foul trouble, and that was certainly a factor. But Statesboro had a big run to start the third quarter. I think outscored Brunswick 13-2. Right at the start. So, got the lead, never gave it away. Brunswick missed some opportunities on their offensive end with missed layups and free throws to possibly, cut that lead down to, a couple of possessions, let's just say. But Statesboro ends up winning that game by 8 points. I think it was 54-46. So that was the first matchup between those teams. They'll meet again, but both Statesboro teams always good, and they came here with good teams this year. And Brunswick High came away with a split with a convincing girls win that was very impressive. And we'll see if these two teams obviously meet again in Statesboro at the end of the regular season. We'll see if it's Statesboro and Brunswick again for the region championship like it was last year, and if Brunswick can reverse the outcome of that Statesboro won the region championship this year. Right now, Brunswick looks like the team to beat, particularly after that game.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, and what's great about this format with 912sports.net, you just go to the website, click, listen to broadcast. I mean, I was actually driving back from Charleston, South Carolina, had it on my phone, was playing it through the Bluetooth of my speakers, and, listening to you guys crystal clear pretty much the whole way home. So, like I said, you can be anywhere, any part of the world and listen to these games. And it's real easy to do. Listen to it on your phone, listen to it on your computer. And again, we got a really big one coming up this Friday night, Kevin, and I'll let you talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, so the second game of the annual city championship matchups between Glen and Brunswick. So it is Brunswick High versus Glen Academy. The first games were played in December before Christmas at Brunswick High. These games are going to be played at Glen. And just a little nugget, it really doesn't mean anything right now. The original schedule had the first games at Glen and the second game's at Brunswick. But with Brunswick hosting the wrestling this Saturday, I guess they needed to go ahead and get the gym and whatnot fixed up, ready to go for Saturday. Just a little too much to involve basketball in there too. So just made a simple switch. That's the good thing about having a county athletic director who kind of controls the things at these two schools. I don't really know that mattered necessarily, but in those first matchups, the Brunswick girls, being undefeated right now, won that game. But it was a little closer, for a good while, and then they ended up pulling it out. And then the Brunswick boys lost on their home floor to Glenn Academy by a point. And right now, Glenn Academy putting together a good season on the hardwood for the boys. That girls team is much improved since really about that time there in mid-December till right now in mid-January. And I expect that Brunswick is going to get their best shot Friday night, particularly at home. And then the Brunswick boys, Glenn boys, that should be exciting as well. I think Brunswick could come ready to play. Of course, Glenn will be fired up and ready to go. Brunswick going to be looking for the season split. Glenn, of course, will be looking for the series sweep. Both big region games as these two teams are battling for, one of the top 4 spots in the region and hope to, move on to the, state tournament as well. And right now, I think both girls teams have a really good shot at doing that. The Glenn boys certainly do. And Brunswick's lost some tough games, Sean. They lost to Glenn by the point. They lost by a bucket at Effingham. They did beat Richmond Hill. They've beaten Bradwell already. They've beaten South Effingham. And, of course, lost that game the other night to Statesboro after being in it for, at least a half. And really all the way, it just got away from them when Statesboro made that run in the third quarter, and they never could, get it back to where they could really make a run at Statesboro at the end. But Brunswick, has come to life, here since January. They've got on a little win streak going into that game the other night against Statesboro. So I hate to say it'd be typical Glenn Brunswick, but Sean, it probably will be.
Exactly. And that girls game, Kevin's going to be, I think, is going to be really, really good because Glenn, they lost to Wayne early in the year and dominated them the other night when you and I did that broadcast. So now maybe they're looking for that revenge factor against the Brunswick High girls, losing to them early in the year. They maybe can, come back and get that victory. I think that's going to be a really, really good game to watch. But you can catch it all right here on 912sports.net. Like I said, just click the broadcast button, click listen now, and you'll be able to listen to it anywhere from any kind of device, your phone, your computer, your tablet, whatever. And, Kevin, you guys have been doing a great job on the broadcast. So keep it up. So looking forward to another big game this Friday night. I guess the first tip-off is 6 or 6:30. Do we know?
I'll have to check on that. Probably 6:30, being that it's a Friday night game. I forget what our original schedule said, but I'm assuming they'll have afternoon JV games before that as usual. So I would look for a 6:30 start on that with the boys starting at 8. But certainly I'll be previewing those games on social media as well, so people can certainly check our schedule and all of our social media posts to find out the exact start times. And Sean, it might be a little bit hard to hear the broadcast depending on the acoustics. Sometimes they're not the best over there at Glenn. It is a big gym there that they call the Glass Palace, but that is the beauty of it. I mean, much like a Walkman in the old days, you could take your mobile device with some headphones and listen as well. But I tell people it's like radio without the radio. Like you said, you were Bluetoothing it in another night driving around your vehicle. And if you're at home, whether you've got the tablet, the pad, the laptop, or whatever, you don't really have to be right by a radio. Exactly. So there's advantages to radio broadcast. I'm not saying that. There's advantages to internet broadcast as well. So, and that's what we're doing. So hopefully people will tune in and pick up on the fact that we're doing these basketball games, and then certainly we'll roll into baseball, which is really right around the corner. I think today they might have been the first official day of practice. And when I went to the basketball games on Saturday, or the wrestling over on Saturday, they did have it at the old BHS gym, which is on the Habersham Street side of campus. And of course, the old gym sits right between the softball field and the baseball field. And the Brunswick kids, along with the coaching staffs, looked like they were out working on the field, getting it ready for practice today. So exciting times. It's going to be a little cold out there on the baseball field today, but that's kind of what you expect all the time.
Exactly, so especially for first games of the season. Hey, we appreciate everybody watching On Air with 912 Sports. We'll be right back here after these messages.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal!
Hello, everybody. Kevin Price for On Air with 912 Sports. A big day coming up on Saturday at Brunswick High School as the Pirates will host the Class 6A Team Dual State Championship. It will be the final 8 teams in Class 6A, the Elite 8, if you will, coming to Brunswick on the BHS campus at Brunswick Square Garden for the Class 6A State Championship match. Someone will go home with the dual state trophy late Saturday afternoon. The action starts at 10 a.m. with the quarterfinal matches, the semifinal matches, and all the consolation action starts at 11:30. The consolation finals will start at 1, and then the championship match for the state crown is set for 3 p.m. Just $15 for all the wrestling you can get. A lot of really good teams, a lot of really good athletes will be on those wrestling mats come Saturday at Brunswick Square Garden. The Pirates will be one of those, one of the top teams in the state. They'll be on their home floor in their home gym looking to win possibly the school's first ever state championship. Buford will be the favorite. Also from South Georgia, here in Southeast Georgia, Richmond Hill will be part of the festivities along with another South Georgia school, Valdosta. But a lot of good programs coming here on Saturday to compete for that dual state championship. I had a chance to talk with BHS head coach Tom Barlotta about the Pirates and also just hosting this big meet on Saturday. Here's what the coach had to say. So, Coach, obviously a big week over here at Brunswick High School when it comes to wrestling. Not only are you in the Class 6A Duals tournament, Brunswick High also hosting the tournament. Let's start right there. Just how exciting is it for Brunswick High to have a good enough wrestling program to be considered to host a tournament of this magnitude and to actually get the bid to host it here?
It's a great opportunity for Brunswick High to showcase their wonderful high school and wrestling program and kids, and support here. So we've had a great run the last few years. 4 years we've been in the mix every year. We took fourth this past year or last year, and then won the region the last couple of years. So this is going to be great. We have an opportunity to compete for a state championship, and I want to thank the administration, our county AD Steve Waters, for letting us have a shot here to put this on, and Mr. Turner. So look forward to it. It'll be on Saturday.
And Coach, just talk real quick. I know what really goes into being able to land this tournament. I mean, you have to be in position to do so. Usually, the premier programs get to host these kinds of things,
right.
And it could be a more complicated process than I realize. You don't have to explain it from A to Z, but how does one go about getting a tournament like this here?
Well, you got to put in for it, and then Don Core, who is in the GHSA with wrestling, came down and looked at Brunswick High, the facility they have, with this school being built on or rebuilt in 2014 or completed right around then, and he was impressed with it and gave us the spot for 2022. He visited this area of this school a year and a half ago and gave it to Lassiter last year. But then gave a call last spring and came down and met with us, Coach Waters and us, and said, give it to you in 2022. He's very impressed with the facility, our program, and so that's what happened. It's great.
Well, I believe things start for you guys earlier in the morning, but in terms of what the fans can be involved in, the bell will ring, so to speak, at 10 a.m. You'll go all the way through until a state championship is crowned in the 3 p.m. final. But top 8 schools coming here.
Elite 8.
The Elite 8.
What they do is, what they did is they held the region championships January 8th. There was 8 region champions crowned. There was a runner-up, a 3rd place, and a 4th place. So there was 32 teams that advanced to the state preliminary, state quad, which was this past weekend. So each region championship team hosted the state quad, and the winner of each state quad then advances. So it's just like the bracket they have for football and basketball. But the only difference is once they get to the Elite Eight, which we're at now, they just reseed.
Right, and Coach, obviously a lot of good schools coming here, but another team from the 912 area code will be here as well, Richmond Hill.
Yep.
You've been able to match them and sort of surpass them in Area 2, winning the region championship, the area championship the last 2 years, but they made their way into the Elite Eight as well. Just talk about the caliber of wrestling that people will see this weekend.
Well, Richmond Hill was a state championship team back in 2018, and they almost won it in 2019. They've been region champs consistently until we knocked them off last year.
Step inside on that duck.
Okay. Alexander is very tough. They've consistently placed. They've won the state dual championships before. You got Valdosta here, who won state duels 3 years ago. Buford, who won it last year when they moved up from 5A to 6A. Cambridge has always been a tough team. Creekview's placed consistently. Lassiter will be there. So there's a lot of great teams, a lot of great coaches. It should be exciting.
And Coach, talk about your team. In quick time, you built the Pirates up to be one of the top teams in the state. Started the championship portion of the season, I guess, ranked third. We'll see, obviously where you're seated at, but just talk about the program you've built here and how wrestling's caught on with the Pirates.
Well, we've done very well here. Came here in 2018, and we were able to qualify for state duels and almost placed. We finished second in the region. We had a state champ, Tracy Salako, coaching Salako's son. So then the following year we continued with some momentum, went back to the state duels, almost placed again. Had a number of kids place, like Jeremiah Dawson, DeMonte Pitts, and others. And then last year we had 7 kids place in state, and we took fourth in the state duels, top 5 in state traditional. So we've been building momentum. We won the region last year, and we repeated this year. So it's been continuing to grow slowly.
And then, of course, after the duels, it will be traditional wrestling where you have guys go through the same process, area, sectionals, and whatnot, trying to make it into the top places in their weight class. To also, you can win a traditional title, but a kid can be a good individual wrestler by himself and win his division. Right, at Glen Academy. So just talk about some of the guys you think later on down the line might have a chance to maybe be another individual state champion or place pretty high in state.
Anthony Lowe has a good shot at winning a state championship. Stefan Stanley, Pete McKinney, Leon Charlton, Blake Etheridge all placed last year. They'll be in the mix. Kamari Cohn has emerged as a contender. Marcus Norman has been in the program for 4 years. He's having an excellent year. And we got some good kids that are young. Clayton Hicks is doing real well at 106. River Creel's a very good double sport football / wrestler at heavyweight. He's getting better. Got a lot of good kids. The Hutchinson brothers are doing well this year. Stunner has emerged. He had a big win against Aiden B last week at the region duels from Glen Academy. So we got quite a bit of kids.
All right, other guy, go!
Well, Coach, and just sort of as a sales pitch, last question for you. I think most people understand this is not the TV WWE wrestling,
right.
But obviously these kids are talented. You see kids that are fast, strong, agile, quick, the whole 9 yards. What would be maybe your sales pitch to get people to come out if they absolutely know nothing at all about wrestling? That's fine. To come see some good competition this weekend.
Just come out.
Thomas, get to that corner.
Just see if you like it. See what it's about, and get someone involved, maybe younger, at the youth level that we have, or middle school, with Jay Macon and Needwood, Coach Bennett, or at the high school. It's a good sport. It definitely could benefit you throughout your life. So it's something.
Hey, don't talk over me, please.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck as you put the final preparations together for the Pirates, and we'll see you this weekend.
All right.
Cole, let me see that super
Thank you, sir.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.